Hello, everybody. Welcome to Troll Reads, and today we are going to be taking a look at a Song of Ice and Fire Theory Iceberg. Those of you who found this video, basically, you all know what an iceberg is, and this one is about theories from the Game of Thrones books. Now, not a lot of people know that there are Game of Thrones books, but there are, and they're a lot more interesting than the TV show. They explore a lot more things and a lot more topics, but basically, this is a theory iceberg. UltraSwiftX did two videos on these. He did one and one really big one, and I think this one is like an amalgamation of both of those. I think, if I'm correct. I can't remember where I got this thing, but it's really good. There's a lot of stuff in it. But since there is a lot of stuff in it, this is going to be a multiple part series. I'm not just going to cover them all in one video. But yeah, no, for today, I'm just going to be focusing on the top layer of the iceberg, which is basically the like the clear waters section. And this is all like stuff that is essentially canon. That's what it's titled. And yeah, basically. Yeah, I'm just going to be hopping right into it with R plus L equals J. This is one that like everyone knows. It's even in the show. Basically, there's a lot of mystery around John's parentage. We're told that Ned had a bastard, John, with some random fisherman's daughter. A lot of people think it was Ashara Dane's wedding nurse, Wyla, and that's the name that he gives in the TV show, I think, to Robert. But I'm not exactly sure. But then Cersei and Catelyn think that it's Ashara Dane's daughter or Ashara Dane's child. But we also know that she had a some sort of miscarriage and then like threw herself from Starfall. But no one knows why she did that. Some people think it's because Ned killed her brother. Some people think it's because of her unborn child. But a lot of people just don't know. So it's really hard to tell. But popular fan theory is that Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark are actually the parents of Jon. And there's some evidence for this. Basically, when Dany has like a flashback, or not a flashback, it's more of like a prophetic kind of dream thing in the House of the Undying, and it's what looks to be Rhaegar and some woman that she doesn't know, and he looks to her and he says, and his will be a song of ice and fire. Or his story will be that of a song of ice and fire. Or something to that effect. And it's believed that that's Rhaegar and Lyanna talking about Jon. And then there's also the fact that the Kingsguard were at the Tower of Joy where Lyanna was being held. If it's true that Jon was there, that's a potential heir that would be needed to be taken care of, and even then that's like a really disputed thing. And then when Ned goes there, he finds Lyanna in a bed of blood, which usually means that she's given birth, and she asks Ned to promise me, Ned, promise me that you'll, and we don't really know what the promise was. And then on top of that, Ned's just a really honorable guy. He would never have sex with a woman, especially after he just got married to Catelyn. And plus there's some timeline stuff that makes it seem like Jon was born later or earlier than Ned said he was. But then again, all of Robert's rebellion, the timeline is kind of like messed up because it's just armies running around the entire map. But yeah, it's basically canon. I mean, that would make the most sense in the story, and thematically it would hit the hardest. But who knows? Maybe he is actually a Dane. Who knows? Oberyn poisoned Tywin. Yeah, so basically, before Oberyn leaves Sunspear for King's Landing, he tells Trystane, or not Trystane, I'm drawing a blank, I can't remember his name. He tells his brother is the Prince of Dorne at the time. He tells him that, remember how we used to play in the water gardens, and, we'd have to knock over, I was always able to knock over bigger kids than me. Well, I'm going to go to King's Landing, and I'm going to knock over a really big person, which, of course, we now know is the Mountain. And basically, what is believed is that Oberyn's plan was to go up to King's Landing, poison Tywin, get tried, convicted, but then say he wants to trial by combat, kill the mountain, and go back to Sunspear with everything he ever wanted. But of course that didn't happen. We know that Joffrey's killed by Olenna Tyrell and Littlefinger. And then Oberyn still sees this opportunity to become to fight the mountain. So he says, "Hey, I'll fight the mountain." But something really weird happens. During the trial, Tyrion's like, "Oh, my father looks like he's dying, or he looks like he's constipated." And then after everything happens at the trial, Tyrion goes up there to see his father right before he escapes. Tywin's on the shitter, and he's like really uncomfortable looking. He's like, "All right." Yeah. Gets shot, dies, and then he just, he smells disgusting afterwards. And basically, it's believed that before, like during the trial or whatever, because Oberyn's also on the trial, like the court. It's believed that Oberyn just fucking poisoned him while he was on the court, just not really caring what happened. A part of his, original plan. So yeah, it makes sense, as like an actual like situation that Oberyn had in his head. Like otherwise, what was he gonna do after he killed the mountain? If he just happened to kill the mountain or whatever. But overall, I think it's probably true. All right, now Pink Letter Conspiracy. Basically, end of A Dance of Dragons. Jon's like chilling out, doing his own thing. Right after what's his name leaves. Stannis leaves. And then he gets this letter. It's a pink letter. Allegedly it came from the Dreadfort, and it says, "Hey," it's like Ramsay writing. It says, "Hey, I killed Stannis. I killed all of them. I have the Red Witch. I have Charisse, or not Charisse. I have all of them. You've lost. I've won, but I still have. Who does he say he has? He says he has. He says he has Mance Rayder and he has what's his name? He says he has Mance Rayder and Melisandre. So he says, hey, I want my he just automatically assumes that because Reek or Theon and fake Arya escaped earlier, that Jon helped them do this. And he's like, "Hey, I want my Reek back. I want my wife back. Give them back to me, or I'll put these people to the sword and make a mockery of your home," or whatever. And it's basically, the whole letter is just trying to get Jon to go out there and do something stupid like abandon the Night's Watch, which is exactly what he tries to do. And because of that, he is fucking killed. Basically, the language in the letter doesn't really add up. The way a lot of things are said, it sounds like a wildling is writing it. So some people are like, yes, it's Tormund Giantsbane. But Tormund doesn't know how to write, so that's kind of weird. But it could be Mance Rayder, just trying to send for help, because he calls the Night's Watch crows. Northerners. Northerners don't really do that. They just call them the Brothers of the Night's Watch or Men of the Night's Watch or whatever. But that's kind of just conjecture. And then he calls the woman Red Witch, which is exactly what Mance Rayder called Melisandre before that. So generally, I think it's not Ramsay who wrote it, but in fact it was just Mance being like, "Hey, we need some help," which is why, which gives way to the whole what is it called? The thing that Stannis is trying to do, the Watchtower or something like that. Basically, Stannis hasn't attacked them yet, but he's probably going to the beginning of Winds of Winter. Fagon, basically, after Tyrion escapes and everything, he's on this boat with a bunch of Illyrio and a bunch of people, and he's like, "Yo, who are these two people?" And there's this old guy and this little boy, and he's told that they're old Griff and young Griff, father and son or whatever. But gradually throughout their course, like the journey and everything, he comes to learn that he deciphers that old Griff is actually Jon Connington, former Hand of the King, what have you, and he still has no clue who this kid is. But then Illyrio tells him that the child is actually Aegon Targaryen, the presumed dead babe of Elia Martell and Rhaegar Targaryen. And immediately there's some red flags. We know for a fact, or for alleged fact, that during the sack of King's Landing, the mountain grabbed Aegon and like smushed him up against a fucking wall and like killed him. But he said, but not he says, um, Varys says that he switched the babes out sometime before the second King's Landing, and Aegon's actually been raised over here, and this is from when Varys is like about to kill Kevin Lannister, and then but there's a lot of that doesn't make any sense. First of all, why would Ellie Martell just let that happen? Like she wouldn't have not noticed that the babies were switched out, and on top of that, like she would have just noticed. And why would she let Varys, this weird fucking eunuch from over way down yonder, just take her child? So yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And on top of that, the entire the whole their whole cause is supported by the Golden Company, who are literally just they're some of the most anti-Targaryen people ever. In fact, they are pro Blackfyre, which is why people do not think that this is Aegon Targaryen. People think that this is actually Aegon Blackfyre. We're told that the Blackfyre line was extinct through the male line, so a lot of people think that this child, young Aegon, is actually Illyrio's son by his old wife, or his dead wife. What was her name? I can't remember her name right now, but basically, she's described as having Valyrian features, or they didn't say Valyrian features. Very pale skin, blonde hair, very white blonde hair. She sounds very Valyrian. So basically, it's believed that she was one of the last Blackfyres through the female line. Have you birthed this child? And that's kind of supported by the fact that Illyrio has like this room in his mansion, or his what are they called, palaces, or not? I can't think of the word right now, but he has this room in there, and there's this chest full of toys and stuff, and then he also gives young Griff like these toys of affection and stuff, and then he also talks about how he wishes he could see the kid more. So basically, he's obviously fond of the child, and so there's obviously some sort of connection there. So yeah, basically, Aegon, it probably isn't Aegon. He's probably a Targaryen. He's not a Targaryen. He's a fucking Blackfyre. All right. Parallels between each culture's legends. Basically, in like every tradition, there's like this mythical hero that will be reborn, or shit like that, which is all like with the Dothraki, it's the stallion who lights the world. With like everything else, it's Azor Ahai, or reborn. And then on top of that, each culture has like some version of the Long Night where people on spiders came from the south, or came from the north or the west or the east or whatever. Basically, all of these are very similar, just told in different ways. And yeah, Gravedigger. Basically, during Brienne's chapters, she goes to the Isle of It's not the Isle of Faces. It's something else. It's on the Trident. I remember that specifically because they talk about collecting Rhaegar's rubies from what were on his breastplate. But basically, she goes on there, and then there's this freakishly large Gravedigger who's like petting this dog. And a lot of people think this is actually the Hound who's been like reborn, and a lot of people think this because the Hound was near the Trident when he was like beat the fuck up and just like left for dead by Arya. On top of that, this guy's like freakishly large. Like, and there's only like 2 other people in the story who are like freakishly large, and he's also petting a dog, which would be like ironic. And then the way that the Septon like talks, he says that Gregor Clegane is dead. Not Gregor. Sandor Clegane is dead, and but like he also talks about himself dying, but then coming out of the Trident reborn. So what a lot of people think is that yeah, sure, maybe Sandor died in the water, but he came back, reborn, and is now living the holy life, being a gravedigger for this communion, or this little area. Let's see. Balon Greyjoy was assassinated by Euron. Okay, so basically the ghost of Highheart. during Clash of Kings, or was it a Feast for Crows? But during one of those, Balon Greyjoy turned up dead. Found out that he fell off of one of the bridges connecting the high rises on Pike, and when he washes up there, so I can't remember who fucking says it, but they're like, oh well, he has like crabs all over him and stuff like that, and then like, oh, king crabs, no doubt. And basically it's like really mysterious, and then all of a sudden Euron pulls up, and which is like really convenient, and I was just like, oh, I'm pretty sure he killed this guy. But basically what makes everyone think that Euron actually hired a faceless man and to kill Balon, and this is supported through the Ghost of High Heart saying, oh, I see the rainy, rickety bridge, and I see a man with no face with a crow on his shoulder with only one eye, and Euron only has one eye. Well, he doesn't really have one eye. He has two eyes, but the other eye's all fucked up and red and scary and shit. But yeah, that's totally like a thing Euron would do. And he might have paid with a dragon egg, because apparently Euron had like a couple dragon eggs, and when they wouldn't hatch, he just threw them out in the sea, which is kind of stupid because dragon eggs are like comically expensive, and like people will pay money for that shit. But yeah, no, it's possible that Euron just straight up assassinated Balon. Robert Strong, basically, in the books after the fight with Oberyn, the Mountain is dead and shit and everything. Well, he's dead in the show too, but I'm just saying. And then a little bit after that, this guy comes up. He's a very large guy, and he's on the King's Guard, and he's personally serving Queen Cersei. And he pulls up with Qyburn, which is already suspicious because Qyburn's a weird ass dude who's been like draining blood out of poor girls and women and like people that Cersei has like sent to him for experimentation. And he's like, oh, this is Sir Robert Strong, and he's taken a vow of silence and has vowed to never rest until Queen Cersei's enemies are all destroyed. So what a lot of people think is that Qyburn has like resurrected. Fuck, I need some water. Give me a second. Fuck, I do not have any water, and I'm not gonna get up and go get some. But basically, a lot of people think that Qyburn has in fact just raised the Mountain from the dead and made him to, just do whatever Cersei wants. Probably true. I mean, he just comes out of nowhere. Like I said, there's only like 3 freakishly tall people in Westeros. Lyanna Stark equals the Knight of the Laughing Tree. Basically, during the tourney at Harrenhal, when Howland Reed first shows up, he's like harassed by a bunch of squires for like House Mullen or something like that, and he is then like taken by the Starks because they're like, oh, come with us, little Crannock man boy, and there's this knight that comes out of nowhere. It's the Knight of the Laughing Tree. It's this weirwood, a laughing weirwood on his sigil, and his armor looks like it's been like made from like a bunch of different armor, and he fights for the honor of Howland Reed, and people are like, yeah, no, this is probably a lot of people. And a lot of people think that it's actually Howland Reed who went to the Isle of Faces and prayed to the gods, or to the old gods, to give him strength and defend his glory. But what probably happened was that it was just Lyanna dressed up in armor. But because it's described that the knight's voice was booming and loud, which would make sense if it's like a small girl in a very large armor. And then they're like, he's also like the Knight of the Laughing Tree is also amazing at jousting. And we know from Jaime that jousting is apparently like mostly just horseback riding. And we know for a fact that Lyanna was amazing at horseback riding, probably because she skin changed her horses, which is like another thing on its own. But yeah, she was probably the Knight of the Laughing Tree. Daenerys is Azor Ahai. Yeah, basically, in the Azor Ahai legend, when Azor Ahai is reborn, he will be reborn amidst salt and smoke and yada yada yada. And Daenerys is technically reborn against salt and smoke. When she walks into fire, the after everything happens, the Dothraki women who see her rising from the pyre are crying, which is salt, and then the smoke is from the soldering fire that just fizzled out. And then her excuse me, her Lightbringer could be Drogon and the other dragons. So yeah. Alaras is the Sphinx. Basically, there's like this really dainty looking boy up in Old Town who's like stuttering to become a maester, Alaras, who is Dornish, and I think it's Marwyn the Mage says something about a Sphinx, and she's also, I mean, yeah, she's also like really close with Marwyn the Mage, and then basically Alaras is spelled backwards for Cirilla, and basically Alaras looks like Cirilla San, so it's probably just Cirilla San wanting to study at the Citadel like her father, but can't because like only men can be maesters, so she's pretending to be a boy, and yeah. Dany is the rightful queen. I guess this is like, hmm. Dany is the rightful queen. I don't know. Like, okay, I just want to tell you guys, by the way, that I haven't like researched these before I like watch this. This is just literally just me turning on my mic and reading these. I guess this could mean that Jon isn't the other like the real isn't Rhaegar and Lyanna's child, which would make Dany the rightful queen. Because she's rightful queen as it is right now. So I guess that's what that means. Queen of Thorns poisoned to Joffrey.